Hey. Back after what, 3 weeks?
Something like that.
Welcome to episode 91. For those that are listening later, not watching the live stream, where we are talking to some of the board members of the Master Homebrewer Program. Uh, so I guess before we really go into anything else, why don't we actually intro them? Yeah.
So
How about we
it's
start? Oh, go ahead, Jason.
it's been a while since we've done a guest show, guys. So just bear
Yeah.
with us while we remember what the fuck we're doing.
We'll hope to screw it up for y'all. So.
Right. Okay. Normally it's just us and our drinking problem. So yeah, let's do some introductions. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Yeah.
My name is Matthew Harold. I'm also known as Mean Brews. If you've seen my YouTube channel, I am the founder of the Master Homebrewer Program, which is a homebrewer certification program. Just like we have a judge certification program, this is for brewers. It's not unique in the world. There are places that what is it called? The Prairie Homebrewer Companions have an award of brewing, which is very similar, which we kind of borrowed on and expanded on. And the Czech Republic actually has a very similar program there for their amateur brewers. So we're the first in the United States to have a nationwide certification program for brewers. And I've been brewing for about 16 years and been competing since 2008. So for a long time, and wanted to see something like this to keep people engaged and challenged as they progress through to expertise in brewing. And that's kind of why I wanted to see this start and happen. So thanks for having me on the show, guys.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
More importantly, Matt, what are you drinking tonight?
Well, I got a couple beers right now. I got. Hopefully, you can see this or not. It's a Bitburger. So
Nice.
felt like a German Pils, and then I went with a sellout Stone IPA as my second beer to have. So it felt like an IPA type of night. So
Yeah.
Right on. Mike, how about you?
Yeah, I'm Mike Rensing. I'm a secretary with the MHP program. I take notes during our meetings, and more importantly, I'm now really the back end on getting a lot of the scores sheets entered, the new members entered, trying to take some of this load off of Matt. I've been brewing probably 12 years now, somewhere around there, competing probably 8 years. So,
Sweet.
And tonight I'm drinking an Eisbach. I don't know what the ABV is, but it's up there.
Sweet.
Right on. I don't think we've ever had anybody on the air drinking an Eisbach before.
I was just thinking that. Yeah.
I'm glad to be the first.
Labor of love there.
All right. Is it Dr. Carl Ticci? Is that what we heard in the beginning?
Yeah.
Dude,
All right. Well,
nothing
I
is
deserve that.
sacred.
you do deserve that.
My name is Dr. Carl Ticci. Yeah, I'm Carl Ticci. I am with the Master Homebrewer Program. I am the director of PR. I am newer to the board, newer to the program than either Mike or Matt. Basically, with the way I ended up part of this crazy crew is really organically. I was just looking around for some homebrewing stuff, saw some random chatter about Master Homebrewer Program, maybe even on Reddit, and just stumbled across it. And it was at a point in my kind of brewing career, I guess, that I was unsure of what to brew, what to brew next, and I wasn't competing at all, really. And so the Master Homebrewer Program really kind of showed up at an important moment for me to be like, okay, well, this will help me decide what to brew because I can try to achieve the highest scores in the various styles. And then also, last year was my first year competing because of Master Homebrewer Program.
Awesome.
So first year competing, I did 38 comps, came away with 38 medals, and finished in third place in the Southeast Circuit last year.
Damn.
And
Nice.
that was, I came short of achieving Master Brewer in our program. I'm 2 scores of 38 or higher short of achieving Master Brewer. So hopefully I'll have that here by the end of February, ideally, with some comps that are coming back. But yeah, I've been brewing since 2011. And as I said, last year was my first competitive year. And just going to run it back this year, try to see if I can repeat podium on the Southeast Circuit again and see where I end up in the Circuit of America, which is Master Homebrewer Program's kind of flagship circuit of competitions. So yeah.
Right on.
Wild.
Well, what's in your glass? Your big ass tall glass, I should say.
My long tall boy. This is a 27H Roggen beer. I just took my Dunkelweizen recipe, swapped out all the wheat for rye malt. I do think I used the Mecha grade Vienna style rye, so I got a little bit more color out of that than just like a regular old base rye. But this is my first attempt at one of the historic styles, and maybe we'll end up touching on this later. But I pretty much brewed it because of Mike Rensing's just like incredible like Rosetta Stone doc that he has that shows basically mathematically all the styles that are most likely to place or to medal in any given competition, and notice that the historical style, just because of the dearth of entries, they are usually have a higher likelihood of placing. So this was the first category 27 that I attempted, was this Roggen beer. It turned out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. It has more or less dropped clear in the keg, so I'm curious to see what happens if any of the judges ding me on appearance there, because it's supposed to have that cloudy Weisse beer appearance.
Right on.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it looks gorgeous.
Yeah,
What about,
I love the ruby color.
Yeah. Did we get to you, Jason? You started this whole thing. What are you drinking? In your
So I figured I am in my pineapple. I figured, I haven't actually drank a homebrew on the show in like a year or so, it feels like. So I thought, since we're gonna have these guys on, I actually saved the growler of our homebrew that you pulled for me yesterday, and I'm gonna drink this growler of it's a wild fermentation sour beer from a barrel share that I think we're all in it, or we've all been in at some point. And then before New Year's, I was going to Brian's for a party, and got a couple of kegs of this sitting in the cellar, quote unquote cellar, meaning corner of my garage. And I took a quart of Muscat grape concentrate that we had just bought. We did a concentrate buy, and just dumped it in the keg and threw it on CO2 and took it to Brian's house for New Year's Eve, and it actually turned out really fucking good. So
good.
Yeah, drinking a Muscat sour.
I've had that before, Jason. It's a delicious beer.
Yeah.
Jordan, welcome. A little bit late, but
yeah, sorry, I was getting the
snuck
kid
you
to
in.
bed. Yep.
No, you're fine, man. What about you? What do you got?
I was doing some beer chores earlier, and I was planning on drinking my my Schwarz beer that I have on tap, or had on tap. I was bottling a bunch of it up for competitions and killed the keg. Yeah, so I started bottling up some of my leftover mead that I had in one of my other kegs, and got like 10 bottles out of that, and I was like, had just a little bit left over, so that's what I'm drinking. I'm starting it off strong with like a 12 to 14% mead.
Get in it.
Yep.
Gotta love the estimated ABV on the mead and the ice box. Love
Yeah.
that.
What about you,
We'll
Brian?
gauge it progressively on how you sound throughout the rest of the show.
Yeah, exactly. I start slurring by the end of this. Maybe it's 18. We'll see.
In my pineapple, I have a couple of weeks ago I wanted to make a two-hearted clone, and I didn't really feel like making a starter. So I live in Kalamazoo, Michigan, right? And I live where Bell's is, and I've never made a two-hearted clone. So I was like, okay, it's sort of like it has to be a rite of passage in Kalamazoo as a home brewer to make a two-hearted clone. But all I had was like Verdant yeast, and Verdant's like super haze positive. Like this beer went into the fermenter clear, and after the dry hop, I just couldn't get it to clear out anymore. So it's like a hazy centennial.
Hazy hearted.
It's really good. It looks oxidized, but it's not, just because the caramel, the C40 that was in there. But
I like
it's not going to a
glasses
comp,
you
but
guys
it
have.
tastes good.
Those pineapples, those are fun.
you missed the story, but we'll.
I
we'll
think
go
I can connect some dots. I think I know.
not those dots. No, no, no.
No, we were talking about that earlier. Just keep them right set up, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Jordan, we're not that close. It's just a glass.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, maybe you're a good person to ask to start off, like kind of some of the deeper doings of the Master Homebrewer Program. But how long has it been going on for? Like, why did you start it?
Yeah, so we started in 2019, and we trialed it out in our local homebrewing club. So everybody that was a member of the Cane Island Ailers, which is our Katy homebrewing club, Gambrinus Winners 2018. Thank you. We started the first trial of that, and had a few people that were interested. Came up with the designs for badges. So if you're a member of the MHP and you're a paid member, you do get badges for ranking up throughout the program. And we 3D print those and we hand paint those, and those get shipped out quarterly to everyone. I don't know. Anybody have one that they want to show off?
I'm pulling up. I'm trying to see if I can pull up my picture
Yeah,
of my,
I was just
of
gonna
my
pull my-
badges.
I should have brought mine. They're downstairs, and I've got a few here, but maybe somebody else can pull it up. So yeah, and one of the things that
Actually,
when
I
I-
can.
if you see my channel, I go back and research historic beer recipes, and yeah, there you go. Brian's got a good. You're what are you, master? You're getting a grandmaster coming in the mail. Is that right? I think.
Yeah, should have Grandmaster 1 come into the mail, but
Yeah, and master mead as well. That's right.
Oh yeah,
Shipping
thanks.
that
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
So another reason I was looking up some of these old recipes by some of these brewers, and I say old, I mean like 8 to 10 years old, and I said, who are these people? Why did they stop competing? And why did they walk away from this great hobby of competing against people and rewarding and never do it again? And I noticed it across the globe, everywhere I was looking.
There you go.
And that was our latest batch that we sent out for 59.
That's crazy.
And I put 2 and 2 together after seeing this award of brewing by the Prairie Homebrewers Companion, and said, let's figure out a way to keep these people engaged, to keep them competing. I figured they probably reached a pinnacle where they're scoring in the 40s every time, and they're winning medals, and they're like, well, why am I doing this? Just patting myself on the back every time. So I came up with a bunch of goals for different people to try to achieve. And put some really stretch goals out there too, right? So like 43 in every subcategory, or 43 in every category. That's going to take you years to get if you want to get it. And we've got people well on their way there. So trying to find a way to keep people competing and not dropping out of the sport, really, the gamification of brewing, which is what we are. So that was really the impetus to start this thing. And it kind of grew legs after, the first year was very slow. Nobody was signing up, very small sign up. And then I created the Circuit of America, where I said, well, let's create a circuit of the biggest competitions in each state, and let's see who's the best brewer out there, And boy, that really just super, injected adrenaline into this program and got people really interested in it. So that's a big component of what we do is the Circuit of America. So I don't know. There's so much I could talk about. Any specific things that you're interested in discussing or know more about? Or
Let's start from the bottom, I guess. Like,
right.
So obviously it's amazing, and I think Jason
Thank
for
you.
sure is a member. I'm a member. Jordan,
I will be.
perfect. And then
Once
obviously-
I conglomerate all my score sheets and whatnot.
That's
But-
what I did. I was in the middle of a move, and I found a box, and I'm like, there's all my source sheets, and I ran over to my computer and I signed up, and then I packed them all away and I moved.
Yeah.
So I haven't done shit with it yet, but I will be soon.
And we run on the honor system. So if you've recorded them somehow as a spreadsheet, we'll
cool.
take that.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people do that. They record the I've seen sheets where they've recorded every brew and every competition and every score that they've ever had and trend them. We got people that are so serious about this. It's
That
fun to
sounds
see
like a Michael
how.
move.
Yeah. There's quite a few people that actually do that, but yeah, we take the honor system. If you do want to just send in a spreadsheet of your scores, and it's a system based upon to normalize it. You can't really look at medals because you've got competitions where you have 2 entries or 100 entries, right?
Right.
And so to really normalize it, you have to go by score sheet, because that's a standard which is across all competitions is used as long as you judge to BJCP, which is a requirement for submitting a score sheet. It has to be a BJCP competition. So your ranking is based upon how many score sheets you submit at a certain score for each style or subcategory of beer, mead, and cider. And there's different awards that tier up. The main ranking system, is based upon a score starting at 21. So if you submit 5 beers, meads, and ciders with a score of 21, you automatically are in the system as a novice brewer. So
Nice.
it doesn't take much to start out. And then, once you get into the Grandmaster, we're talking like I'm Grandmaster, 4? I've got 20 different score sheets of 43 or higher, right? That's huge. That takes a lot of time.
And there's
I've brewed 77 different subcategories of beer, mead, and cider. 77 of the 130 off styles. So that's kind of what it takes to get to that level. And I still have goals I want to achieve. So it's kind of doing its job and keeping people focused and wanting to do better and more. Yeah.
And once you get to those ranks, it's like you sort of have extra requirements too. It's not just scores, right? You have to do a certain number of sour beers or lagers or meads or something.
Yeah, we kind of incorporated that. We wanted to make a challenge for people that are in the very high ranks to say, when someone looks at that badge and you're Grandmaster 10, you better know everything about everything, right?
Sure.
And so we kind of, it was just independent of styles. And now we're kind of incorporated into those later Grandmaster ranks. You better know meads, ciders, you better know sours, but not just kettle sours. You better know mixed fermentation sours. Somebody that sees that badge better know that you know everything, right? And that's another feature that we're trying to implement. Is somebody walks into a homebrew club meeting for the first time and gets advice, right, about their beer, and you get a wide array of opinions from a wide array of experience. How do you know who's the person to listen to? Well, look at that badge, right?
I like that.
That's another way to recognize that person knows what they're talking about this style. It kind of leads into another subset of badges that we have or rankings that we have are specific genres within the beer, mead, and cider world. So we have, if you focus on German beers and you don't want to do anything else, just German beers, well, you can earn Braumaster badge, which means you have 10 German style beers that have achieved 43 or more. So for people that don't really want to brew meads and ciders, there's something for them as well, right? We have that for Belgian styles, for English styles, for people that just want to do sours or mixed fermentations. There's ways to earn recognition along a different path as well if you're not into just ranking up by brewing everything. So we have a little bit of something for everyone. And I'm talking way too much. Mike.
No, dude. No, absolutely
No,
not.
dude, I'm loving this information, man. Take it away, dude.
Yeah.
Like this is fantastic.
So I will say we do have another. So we looked at how we could reward people. We have stars as well. Like if you look at like a general's badge with a number of stars on his collar, we honor stars for if you get a best of show in a competition, you can earn a bronze star or a silver star, depending on how big the competition is. If you're in a medal at an HC, you get a star, right? So major accomplishments in brewing, you get these stars. And I think Bill Boyer set the record this year. He earned 21 stars,
Incredible.
13 best of shows this year alone for mead. It was insane.
That's
and you look at those numbers, you're like, nobody should really earn that much. He earned those. That dude is unbelievable. He's an unbelievable brewer. So
He
so it's
medaled
another way
in-
we can recognize people.
Yeah, he medaled in every comp in the Circuit of America. That
All
is
26?
incredible.
That's
26
insane.
competitions.
Yeah, absolutely insane.
Holy smokes.
So
And
that
keep,
was
and keep in mind, we're heaping praise on him, and this isn't even the guy that won the circuit. There was
Yeah,
still,
he
there was
got
still
second.
yet another brewer that pulled off some just insane feats of Zimmergy. It was wild.
Yeah, Fritz Schans won the Circuit of America. This was our second year for Circuit of America. Joel McGormley won it the year before. And Joel didn't realize he was even in it until halfway. And he but he is super excited about winning that last year. But this year, or 2022, everybody kind of went after it, and I was even in the mix there. I was like, well, I can't let this, I got to try to win my own competition thing. But Fritz won 100. How many medals did he win? 190 medals.
Wait, what?
190 medals or something like that this year.
I mean, he got 15 at the Colorado State Fair.
Yeah, in one competition.
In one
That's
competition.
crazy.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, and
So
there's
I was just
obviously
going to ask, like, what goes into the points, or what how do you calculate who wins the Circuit of America?
Interesting. So if you look at all these, there's a bunch of different homebrew circuits in the USA. If you don't know, there's one in Washington State, Oregon, Texas, Tennessee, Louisiana, Midwest, High Plains, Southeast. They're all over the place. So Florida has its own circuit, and they all calculate them different ways. And we kind of looked at what the pros and cons of each and came up with our own way to do it. And basically, it's a proportion of how many people you beat within that table, right? So if there's 10 people, the way it used to be is if there's 10 people, you get 9 out of 10 points, so 0.9 points. And we've kind of put a factor on that to kind of account for more reward if you win a huge competition versus there's 3 entries at the table, right? So there's a factor there this year, but that's really how we do it. So you never get more than 1 point, but if you get first out of 100 entries, that's pretty big. You get 0.99 points. And if you get second out of 100, you get 0.98. So for those highly entered tables, first, second, and third are nearly identical in the number of points you earn. And so then they accumulate for each competition that you enter. And one thing that's unique this year, when Fritz walked in and would win 15 tables at one competition, he kind of ran away with it very early on. So we're limiting that to the highest 5 scores from each competition that you enter. So you can put 5 beers in every competition. If you get 5 golds, you're probably going to win the circuit, So it gives a little bit more parity, makes it a little bit more competitive, keeps the people that flood. And we love the people that flood because they're brewers and they love to compete. They're a big part of our program. But it keeps them at bay a little bit and lets the normal brewer participate in this thing and be competitive. And that's what we want, is something that everyone can participate in and feel like they can be competitive and they can win it. If they make a good enough beer, they can win this thing. And prizes are big. They are big prizes and they're going to get bigger. I'm just telling you.
What were they last year?
It was grandfather, first place.
True.
$1,000 prize. He got to pick which model. He picked a model that hasn't even on the market yet.
What?
BSG let him choose. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So they're going to get bigger. When we get to NHC, we're going to recruit new sponsors and, hopefully get some more people participating in this thing. So everybody's got a shot. And if you're a competitor and you want to win some big prizes, this is the place to do it. So.
Right on.
We had a question in chat. It was answered in chat too, but
okay.
The question was there's no country in the sign up form. Is it US only? And
right now it is. I've reached out to the lab brewers in England, and the problem is shipping, right? Us being able to ship those internationally is going to cost us a lot of money. And if we had a way to kind of collaborate with local homebrew club, and these are just 3D printed things, right? Badges. If they were willing and able to come up with the same quality badges that we do here, we'd be willing to, expand it internationally. We do have people in our Facebook page that are from Mexico and Canada.
Looks like he's
that are
from. I was gonna say, it looks like he's from Australia, and he's trying to
Yeah.
throw some.
Oh,
little
some shade,
little
too.
shade.
Hey, I'm
man.
cool.
Okay.
I would,
All
you know,
right.
what I would say is go on our website, send us an email. If you're willing to set this up there, then yes, we are looking to expand eventually. Probably not this year, but 2024, maybe so.
Right on.
It's probably a no-chill brewer with a what they call it, a jerry can. Yeah, I've heard about Australian home brewing. I've heard about it.
I would say they're. I'd have to agree that their hops are probably superior in many ways, but
Yeah, Aussie hops are great.
more actually no, that give it New Zealand. That's different. But
Dibs, hit us up. Send us a message. Let's trade some beer. Let's see if we can ship internationally or something. We'll have a little mini showing or something. We'll do a homebrew review. Send some beer in, and we'll,
that's right.
We'll get some BJCP judges on, and we'll do some beer reviews or something.
Cool.
Take it easy on the no show. Oh, we got okay. All right.
That's Matt Jaggers. He's on our board. He's a good guy.
Matt's
Got a great
guy.
YouTube channel as well.
Right on.
So.
Yeah, go check out Matt's YouTube channel. So I guess so Dibs brings up a good point. It says there's a membership tier that's free, and there's one that's there's no charge, but there's also a club tier, right?
Yeah, so I'll talk first about the free tier. Anyone can sign up for the free tier, right? You can live anywhere in the world and sign up for that, as long as we don't have to ship badges to Antarctica, right? You'll create a dashboard. You'll get on the leaderboard. Anyone can sign up for the free tier. This year, we are incorporating a club membership, and it's not. The main difference in the club membership is it's a little bit more. It's $125 for your entire club, regardless of size. We do 2 shipments a year instead of 4. And what else is different about it? That's about it. The 2 shipments is it. And that really, our shipping is our biggest expense. So doing that really saves. And if you looked at some of the renewal, I told the people at KCBM, the Kansas City Beer Masters, I said, your renewal membership costs $12 and MHP costs $25. If people were smart, if they wanted to join MHP, they would join KCBM first, and it'd be cheaper. It would be cheaper than joining the Master Homebrewer Program. So, maybe we need to think about our fee rate. But that's a great program for clubs, and it lasts a year. It's an annual thing. So, if you're interested as a club, just go on our website and click the join button, and there's a form, and you can select which type of membership you want to do. So.
And that's like a symbiotic thing for sure. Like that club membership, as Matt alluded to, that's not something that makes a lot of financial sense for us, especially if it's a massive club. But it gives us an injection of members and people that are excited about the hobby and excited about shipping out to competitions. And also it gives the club a vested interest, a modest financial vested interest in saying, hey, guys, we have this club membership. This is a benefit we are offering you. Let's make sure that we are, collaborating and coordinating, shipping off to competitions or maybe doing, group drop-offs to the closer ones and things like that. So there's definitely benefits in both directions there for that club level membership.
And then, once a club signs up, or I feel this kind of strays away maybe from the Master Homebrewer Program as a program, but I feel like clubs that have a vested interest in competing or have a lot of members that compete often tend to grow their membership and tend to produce better beers all in all. The people that tend to compete tend to take their feedback seriously and tend to want to make their investment into shipping and entering competitions worthwhile. And once you sort of start to get that mindset, I feel like these clubs grow better brewers. There's a reason that you see KCBM talked about all the time, or some of the California clubs, or
Quaff,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Quaff. Yeah,
Quaff just signed up for a club membership, so
awesome.
I'm dreading that. I'm probably gonna have to send out another package.
How many members do they have? Yeah, over 100. Right?
They haven't submitted anything. I mean, they paid, but they haven't yet started their. I think they're waiting for one of their club meetings to kind of unveil it to their membership. But I'm expecting, they've got hundreds in Quaff. So,
Jeez.
yeah.
I'll
That's
definitely
gonna be
say
wild.
brewing for competitions really brought our club together and is really, taken us to the next level. I mean, Brian's got the Gambrinus behind him. We've got a couple of state club of the years. And I know when we talked about, I think we brought the Master Homebrewer to our club, but I believe like the majority of us that were going to participate had already signed up and paid. So it'll be something next year.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that we'll loop in some other newer members that aren't quite ready to do it solo yet. So I'm expecting it to be a big lift when we do pull that trigger.
Yeah, great. It kind of builds a community as well. So even if you're a part of a club, joining this group and our Facebook presence and our Discord presence, I would have never known Dr. Carl Tichy before we created this thing. So it makes, Andy coined a good term, it makes the homebrewing world smaller, especially this niche of competitive brewing. Getting to know these people that I see their names all the time, and they're great people, and it's fun to talk smack with them and compete against them on a weekly or monthly basis at these competitions. So it's been I've really enjoyed it.
It's also great to celebrate with all of them too.
Yes.
I mean, seeing everybody just medal is fantastic, even if Carl beats me. So
one thing that we do is on the COA, Circuit of America, after the competition's done, I'll tally up the points for the COA, and they'll be like, okay, here are the stats of MHP members in this competition. And usually we have injected so much into these competitions as a group that I'm not sure they recognize that the majority of their medal winners, the majority of their entrants are coming from them being on the Circuit of America. So if you have a competition and you want to grow it, you can petition to us to add your competition. Now, it better be bigger and better than anything else in your state. But, petition to us, and you'll see a definite injection of entrants and the quality of entrants that you have in your competition. It's amazing what it does, really, to these competitions.
The Michigan State Fair, was that part of the circuit last year?
It was, yes, and it is this year as well.
Excellent medals.
The medals are beautiful.
Fantastic.
Really good.
But I was at the award ceremony last year, and they started announcing names and states and the clubs these people were from, and there were a lot of Texas medalers at the Michigan State Fair last year. And I was like, oh, okay.
I did not enter last year, but I saw the medals from last year, and I'm like, I want one of those.
So
I will be entering this year. So
I want to pull on this thread a little bit, because what you guys may not know is Brian and I are actually now the organizers for the largest homebrew competition in the state of Michigan, the Michigan Beer Cup. And we just took that over this year.
Okay.
And one of the things that we're working on is making a badass medal. And so in your esteemed expert opinions, what would I need to do to make, what is the best medal that you've ever gotten, or what makes that medal stand out?
So right
There's
off the
something
top,
to be said for size. I got to say.
size and mass.
Size doesn't matter.
I'll chime in on that and say that there is an aspect of shiny, because I've got a few medals sitting behind me, and the two favorites that I have is one from Glint Cap, because it's like a damn mirror, and I can see it from across the room. It's gorgeous. And then the recent one I have from Bell's, because that thing's it's like a belt buckle. It's massive.
Oh my God, Jason, we totally forgot. I'm so sorry, Jordan. So I'm gonna interrupt.
Oh fuck
this.
yeah!
I'm gonna interrupt this very. I'm sorry. I gotta interrupt.
Oh,
so,
okay.
For those that aren't aware, so Bell's runs a homebrew competition every year, and it used to be that they gave you 5 gallons of wort, and you took it home, you brewed whatever beer with it, This year they gave you up to 15 pounds of Empire Malt 2-row, and you took it home and did something with it. I think this year they had just a little under 100 submissions, and our very own Jordan took silver in the Bell's Homebrew competition this year.
That's right.
So big congratulations. It's a
Yeah,
pretty
thank you.
stacked competition, all in all. So congratulations, Jordan. I am
Yeah,
so
thank you.
sorry we didn't even start off the show. It's been
Good.
so long.
It's been a couple weeks, but no, it's good. I mean, it's honestly it's the longest competition I've been submitting to. So, I don't know,
That's
it's
what
nice.
got me into brewing. You got me into brewing through the Bell's Homebrew competition.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
What style was it that took silver?
It was a Schwarz beer, or it was I guess what I labeled as a black lager with cinnamon.
Oh wow.
Oh, so did you enter it as a category 30 spice beer, or did you
It's
do
not
eight?
it's not a BJCP.
It's not
count.
BJCP. That's
Yep.
the I
It's
guess
hedonistic,
yep.
I only think in cats and subcats because I have a brain illness at this point.
To be entirely honest, I would too, because that's like one of the only competitions around the area that's not BJCP that I readily submit to. And to be honest, I was kind of like, I'd submitted for so many years. So the funny thing is I had brewed me and my wife had brewed a cinnamon stout and submitted it pretty much every single year for like 6 years. And then I gave up on it and decided I needed to go back and redo the recipe, and then did that and submitted it to the Michigan Homebrew Festival and ended up taking gold with it. So I was like, the recipe's not wrong. But yeah, so then from then I just brewed a series of other things, and then I just had this Schwarz beer that I brewed up, and I was getting ready to submit it. I'm like, it needs something else, and I had a cinnamon tincture sitting next to my kegerator that I'm using for some of my ciders, and I'm like, let's do it. Let's try it. Did some quick tabletop science and was like, this is the dosage, and
Awesome.
dosed it up. Yeah.
Well done.
Yep.
Maybe while we get Mike and Matt and Dr. Carl's opinions on metals, go grab it so we can see it, because that thing's fucking massive.
Oh, I got it right behind me here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab some beer real quick, and then I'll grab it so you guys have a second.
Good
So
stuff.
we actually can take a data-based approach to which award is best, because part of what we have here at the Master Homebrewer Program is a collection of data, basically, that are quality reports, I guess, where Matt, there's probably a better term for it, on the competitions. So after you enter a competition, after it's kind of wrapped up its award ceremony and sent out their awards, you can review the competition and leave that review on the Master Homebrewer Program website. And it's our way of, amplifying the competitions that are consistently high quality, good judging, good organization, timely award shipment, things like that. And I believe there is a separate score for like the quality of both the awards and any additional best of show awards. So I don't know, Matt, if you know like right off the top which one is consistently scoring the highest. I'm sure Bluebonnet is extremely high. Indiana State Fair had dope ass medals.
Oh wow.
Exactly.
I was supposed to be in Indiana State Fair, and I missed my shipping window.
So we have two rankings for one for the medals or ribbons. What's the quality of those, and then any additional awards. So if you look at Bluebonnet, Operation Fermentation, Brewfest, they give for gold medalists a special award. Bluebonnet, you get a stein. Opferm, you get a goblet, and Boot, you get a glass boot. And there's multiple types of these. I'm just naming the top three. So we have different rankings for each of those. And if I looked at awards, Hoppy Halloween is like number one, right? The medals at Hoppy Halloween are voodoo beads.
And that's a unique situation that you're not likely to replicate with your comp.
So
I've seen Hoppy Halloween, and I'm not going
to.
I got a Jason mask bottle opener.
I think they had to do somewhere in the ballpark of 900 handmade clay skulls.
Oh,
yeah.
Based on the number of skulls per ribbon. So that's a lot.
And I thought those were plastic when I first saw pictures of them. They're not. I got my first one this year. They are heavy, heavy metals. Like, yeah. They're very, very cool.
Yeah, some other ones are, NHC is up there. What are
I
some
want one of
others?
those.
Yeah, I do too. I think probably because it's so coveted,
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
Yeah.
I think Indiana Brewers
There's
Cup. It's
one more day. One
One
more
more
day
day.
to enter.
One more day left to
Yeah,
enter
that's
in
right.
HD.
Yep.
Until
I'm
tomorrow.
already all registered up.
Personally, my favorite is the Drunk Monk Challenge. Their metal is very unique. It looks like it's crafted instead of pressed, right? But I
Hmm.
don't know if it is or not. But I really think that's a great metal. It's big. It's bigger than the other metals. It's heavy.
Mhm.
I think they did a great job.
There's a
with
splash of color.
There
Yeah.
is a splash of color. Yeah.
Another one
So-
that has a little splash of, it's actually more than a splash. It's probably the first full color one that comes to mind for me is Commander Saws.
Yeah, that's highly ranked as well.
Yeah, and that one's it's not as big maybe as like an Indiana Brewers Cup, but it is full color. It's got that goofy Commander Saws logo that they use, but I really like that full color one. Yeah, and then something that we've discussed. I don't know if you guys are considering this, but something that the MHP board has discussed is pretty much a surefire way to get everyone amped, is to offer some sort of weaponry. So
Like
like
a sword.
yeah, so the Port City Plunder in Wilmington, North Carolina, as well as the Alamo City Cerveza Fest in San Antonio, they both offered swords for their best of show. I
That's
mean,
awesome.
yeah, I mean, you
A
can offer a
wrestling
battle
belt.
axe, you can offer, a bow staff, or maybe
There we
some,
go.
some
The-
ninja
the-
stars.
Look,
Nunchucks.
these are all valid and amazing ideas. So I do appreciate.
We're northern. We should just do a double-headed woodsman axe.
There you go.
Yeah.
We do have to present these awards at Michigan's Homebrew Festival,
Don't
which
think we
is
can have weapons at, right?
yeah, there's some trickery there. Basically, so the Michigan Homebrew Festival takes place third weekend in August, and we camp out. So there's usually about 20 clubs from around the state of Michigan come together. We've got a private campground, and we all put our beers on tap for 3 days. So there's like 300 beers on tap, couple, 300, people there, all enjoying homebrew. I don't think giving them a double-headed woodsman axe.
Yeah.
Probably smart. Yeah.
Yep.
It's
One
like
of
Club
the
Night at NHC outside for 3 days.
it is it's that short club night at NHC spread out. If you guys ever feel like visiting Michigan in August, you should absolutely come up
Do it.
for Homebrew Fest. If you just boil down club night at NHC, it's that on crack,
Oh,
10 times over. It's just except it's also not air conditioned and it's August in the woods.
Yeah.
So
It's not
humid.
Texas August. It's Michigan August.
Yeah.
It can be humid.
It's like
And
a
we-
Texas winter,
Yeah.
we actually just did something similar to that. It's a 2-night thing down in North Carolina. It's the North Carolina Homebrewers Invitational. But we did that in October,
Yeah.
so it was not hot. But we had, I think they had an app that had all the kegs organized. So I think we had somewhere in the ballpark of like 150 to 160 kegs. We had, I think, 20 clubs from all around North Carolina and South Carolina. So certainly doesn't seem quite as fleshed out as that, but I mean, yeah, it's basically just a big club night with a bunch of tents and all the kegs you could ever want.
Yeah, we actually have. So we rent an old Boy Scouts camp. Let me see if I can pull up some pictures. And in the Boy Scouts camp, there's a literal fort in the middle. So there's this massive wooden structure, fenced-in area with some things in the middle, and we're able to set up the majority of the bars inside of that. So we actually have, like, in the center of the campground, there is a large structure that you go inside, and it's lined with bars. It's open air. It's not like you're in a building. But there's some trees and the fire pits, and we're able to, like I said, put all the clubs in that or right around the outside, and so it's really like you kind of walk through this open air beer mall, beer garden for like I said, hundreds of beer on tap. I know our club last year, I think we had, well, the year before last, we had 36 taps with 50 plus kegs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we also had a tap
We-
on it like every single other club.
And then we were tapping at other clubs.
Do you have
Yeah.
to be a resident or entrant?
No.
Or is there? Okay.
No. I mean, you just have to. What you do is you buy your ticket to the event, which in the past has been $40, and that is effectively your membership to the Michigan Homebrew Club,
Yeah.
or the Michigan Homebrew Festival Club. That's
Which
the
then
legal.
allows you to drink 3 ounces
We
at a time.
we have to do that as well.
Yeah.
You know.
So anybody's welcome. I will say the club or the competition that we run, Michigan Beer Cup, has in the past been a Michigan-focused club or competition, which is why we're not in the circuit and haven't really petitioned that. And Brian and I talked about it actually yesterday. Is this something we want to do, or do we want to keep it Michigan? And we got State Fair that's a circuit. We're great friends with Blair and what the State Fair does, and we support each other. In fact, Blair came down and helped get
Judged.
us some judges and judged,
Mhm.
at our comp. And, so we don't want to really mess with it. I think we're going to keep Michigan Beer Cup, the competition, focused on Michigan.
Right.
But yeah, Michigan Homebrew Fest, if you're in the area or you feel like traveling, goddamn, I'll float your guys' tickets. Come on up.
I think Carl might have entered that last year and shipped his entries into is it Michigan or some other state that you
Don.
It
you
is.
finagled your way into the competition.
Me?
Yeah,
No, it was Don.
it was Don. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
He
so
entered the wrong one.
Okay, yeah,
in the past, we have not. So we were partially involved last year, and I would say in the last few years they have not kicked anybody out for not being in Michigan. But the agreement is they would not ship any prizes or awards outside of the state.
that's right. Yeah, it was Don. Sorry, Dr. Carl.
Yeah. So I appreciate your guys' expertise. You gave me some names. I looked them up. We are looking at creating a larger medal. I feel like it needs to be, odd shaped. Some of the cool medals I see, especially State Fair, had the ribbon sticking out of the medal. I thought that was neat. I personally like some cutouts and some space to see through the medal. And then Brian
That would be kind of cool.
yeah, Brian was big on the paint fill and the color, the pop.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So hopefully in a few weeks we're going to be working with an artist and we'll be able to unveil the 2023 Michigan Beer Cup medals, and hopefully they're awesome. So
Great.
Nice.
Too bad we can't enter.
I
Making us envious now.
State Fair is still pretty sweet. I can't wait to lose to some of you in the State Fair now this year that more people saw what the medals looked like last year.
Well,
Yeah.
you live streamed, right? State Fair, and your medals
We
were
did.
awesome. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, well, those are criteria for me to want to participate in that.
That's huge. I mean, that's huge
It
right there.
was
Live streaming your
actually
award ceremony.
Yeah.
double awards because you got like State Fair ribbons with the medals.
yeah.
And I don't know if those are
I've
ordered.
I've got a soft spot in my my heart for State Fair ribbons. There's just
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
about them.
You kind of
Some are better than
nostalgic.
others.
I
Say
think
some are better than others.
I think
Yeah.
Blair
All
Blair
the
had
other
said that.
competitions.
Yeah, I think Blair said he had ribbons left over, so he gave them out with the medals. And I know in years past, and I don't know this year, Brian, did he give out mugs too?
No,
So in
That
years
was-
past, you used to get a ribbon and a stein. So
but we should give them that feedback.
yeah,
that people still like the ribbons. So, and
I will take
ribbons aren't that much, So
no.
Yeah, because for Indiana, I got. Oh, we get.
Oh, and he's frozen. We caught him just before he cut off, so he realized it.
cat jumped on the keyboard or something. Yeah,
Am I still alive here?
It's a great.
Yeah, we got you.
Okay,
a
kicked
great,
everybody else out. It looks like. But
I was
it's a great
saying, I
look.
ended up grabbing that Michigan homebrew medal. So this thing
Oh.
is pretty large in comparison to say like the
so
old
is that the
Glint-
bells?
Yeah, this is the Bell's
okay.
homebrew one. You know,
That's
so
pretty
it's
impressive. Yeah.
Fairly large compared to like Glint cap, so you can see the
I like Glint caps.
the
I
size
just
of it.
it just has it's a bit expensive to enter that competition and very competitive.
unless you're Jeff Carlson.
Yeah,
How
Yeah,
many
that's-
did he enter last year? I think Bill was telling me he had to enter.
The answer is
I-
yes.
Yes.
I think he took a medal in every single category.
Wow.
No, I
Um,
believe Jeff took 29 medals at Glint Cap last year.
I would love to sit into a course with that guy to talk about ciders, because I just cannot make a good cider. I would love to pick his brain about what to do there. So
I'm not saying I'm shooting for Jeff, but I've got 6 batches of cider sitting here in my basement that I've been messing with over the past while, that I'm planning on submitting all of them underneath different categories. I would say one thing off topic in terms of cider with this Bell's metal, not that I haven't seen a lot.
oh yeah.
Like,
Okay.
I really like that, because when you wear it, like, it doesn't.
It kind
I
of
wonder
sticks
if they
a little bit.
meant it for it to be a coaster, you know?
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, maybe.
no
Yeah.
kidding. What a great
But-
thought.
The one
I like
odd thing
that.
about that one, so I mean, the felt back is cool and it's a great looking metal, but they're all the same. You know,
They are.
Yeah.
That was this is the same medal that first place got and that third place got. So that's a little disappointing on that. I'm with you, Jason. But yeah, no, still, I mean, it's good sized metal. I enjoy it, and I want to get more large medals. And
Another one you need to
unique
look
things.
at is Foam Cup came out with new medals this year, and they're fantastic. Desiree does a good job there. They're kind of they're odd shaped, and they can, different colors. They really pop. So, take a look at those too.
right on.
Definitely.
You got all that, Jason?
I did. I took some notes. I pulled up pictures of the different metals they mentioned, and I mean, I know, Brian, what I have in my head is still, we just got to get it out of my head and
Okay.
and on paper. So
Well, what else? What else can we tell you about MHP?
and I was just looking at our notes and kind of going through. We talked about the process, the progress, the paid for free versus club. We've gone through. I don't know. Is there anything else that stands out that like I know you guys recently went through some changes. What were maybe some of the standout changes this year?
Besides the Fritz rule or whatever.
Well, there is some other perks that the MHP offers. We've got some discounts that some sponsors have given us. So if you are a paid member, you've got access to those. What are some of the really good ones?
You guys do a whale pod.
Whale pods.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank
we have
on-
a couple
Brewers Hardware.
Brewers Hardware and was Bacchus and Barleycorn as well. Is that they give discounts? We're looking to grow that as well. So if you want to sponsor us, you want to offer our members discounts, let us know. We'll gladly take them. So it's mutually beneficial. People that compete more buy more. So give us some discount codes. Encourage people to brew. Encourage people to compete, and it's only win-win, right? You talked about some of the changes that we made this year. We had a minor amount of rules changes. The biggest one probably was switching to the 2021 BJCP, which was a pretty big change for us. Some of our tiers require that you medal in every category. So when they keep adding categories and styles, it makes it more and more difficult to rank up.
It's part of the journey, though, man.
Yeah, it is. We also, probably the next biggest one, we split out. We had 21B IPA as, just whatever it was, right? If you did a brown IPA or NEPA or whatever, you scored in that bucket. We split those out and added a special award for people that brew IPAs. So if you score 43 and 7 different IPAs, you can get a specialty badge for IPAs.
What's it called?
Because there's a lot of people that's all they brew. So we wanted to kind of recognize that.
Is that one of the
Hero of Hops?
I think it's Hero of Hops.
Cool.
And so that's a specialty badge that you can win, kind of like along the lines of the Brewmaster and the Cider Master badges. So other than that, we did some minor tweaks here and there, but nothing really, ground shaking other than the BJCP 2021.
Cool.
Right on.
We have about we grew from about 50 to 250 in 1 year.
Holy shit.
That's some decent growth.
Yeah, and we are growing on that same pace now And we're working on a way to upgrade our badges to purchase badges that are enamel metal badges, just because this pace we cannot keep up, right? With the number
Are you
of
the
people,
only one printing these right now?
I've got somebody that prints them for me, but the
Okay.
painting it took me 2 weeks to do this last batch of badges.
God.
So
Yeah.
at our current growth rate, I figure next year, if we don't have the metallic badges, we're going to have to put a freeze on new members, just because we're growing that fast. So if you want to get in now, is what I would say. But it's a good thing. It's a good thing to have that much growth. We're just trying to figure out budget wise how we can do this, not break everybody. We want it to be affordable.
Yeah.
We still want to have the club membership. It may look a little different with metallic badges. We may phase them in, do certain ranks first, because the big expense is the setup cost with those, right? Getting the molds in place is a huge proportion of the cost there. So we do have enough in our bank right now to kind of phase that in, but we're working on that probably for 2024. It'll be something that we roll out there. And they look really cool. I mean, we've already purchased a trial of some of the badges. I probably have one of them here.
Oh, wow.
Talk about something else. We did a Master Mead one, and it is really fantastic looking. So that's the next upgrade, the next iteration of what we're planning in the future. As far as long-term goals, I think eventually we'd like to have I would like to have some sort of conference and competition that kind of recognizes the winners of the circuit, similar to what was it MCAB did before, but on a more grander scale. So we really needed, some sort of club to help sponsor judging for that. And it may start out small. It may be a single style, or maybe, a few regional styles. But eventually I would like to see some sort of championship, right? Where you've won gold as a Roggenbier with Vienna type rye malts, and you're going to compete with other Roggenbiers for the best Roggenbier in the country. And
like Iron Chef for beers.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So
That'd be awesome.
If we can incorporate that through some sort of conference, I think that would be a great thing to have. So that's 5-year plan. So.
5 year. Right on. No, that sounds awesome. What else do you have coming up this year? Anything major? You going to NHC again?
I'll be at NHC. I think most of us are. We put in for 3 lectures and didn't get any of them. So,
geez.
But I have one, my YouTube channel, Mean Brews, is still in the running. They've told me I'm still in the running, so I might have one. But Mike Rensing, and I told Julia this. I had a one-on-one with Julia a week ago, and I said, if you pick one of ours, you've got to pick the Mike Rensing data analysis that he pulled from. You can do a whole show on that, guys. It's unbelievable. It is just unbelievable.
I think I would actually like to. I haven't
looking
seen
to clean up this data.
Is it public data right now, Mike?
It is. It requires a bit of work to obtain. So I've done that legwork already. I'm looking to clean it up and maybe release it. So it's
Mike did a power automate poll from the Midwest circuit. Is that right?
I started with that.
Yeah. So tell them exactly what you did. Walk through, because I don't know.
So I'm competing in the Midwest Homebrewer of the Year, and just looking through the website, realized that every entry in every competition of the Midwest Homebrewer of the Year is on their site. It takes a little bit of work to obtain, but you can figure out what everybody has brewed and the beers that medaled.
Okay.
So I started with that, scraped all of that data, and was able to put together, I don't know, I think it was like maybe 8 years worth of information from there. And there's another set of public data that's a little bit more difficult to come by. Reggie has a way that you can find all of the entries, and I ended up scraping that data as well. That goes back to 2006, I believe. So when when Nelson started, Reggie is all there. There's over 114,000 entries that I've got, and I normalized it all to 2015. I think it's going to be difficult to take it to 2021. So 2015 was the easiest to normalize to, but now I can compare all of that data and see trends, percentages of beer styles that are entered and the ones that do well. And you can also then start breaking this down to regions of the country, see what styles to enter in what various competitions. That there are ones, Iowa, for instance, a certain style of beer does better there than it does elsewhere in the country.
Interesting.
So you can start, planning your brews and targeting what beers to enter in what competitions. So the areas of the country all poll, the same judges. So if you're in Kansas City, a couple of competitions around there, they're pulling from the same judging pool. So you're going to have the same result.
So we were going to present this at NHC, and they turned it down. Probably didn't realize what a gold mine this was, but we're looking to make this a membership perk, and we're going to do a live stream to paid members, presenting all this data, and almost in a Q&A session on specific styles, specific competitions from the data that Mike's pulled.
If there's any way that you could do like a light version of it, I think I'd love to do a show on it. I get it for the paid members, and I think that's a smart way to go. But maybe you could do a light version that could help maybe pull in some more membership there.
Sure.
Because I tell you what, I started to do that myself with the Michigan comps years ago, and I think I only did like 3 years of one comp before I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. And you have managed to pull in like all of that shit. So you went to you went to the nth degree of where I was trying to go. So that's some fascinating shit. And I think, I'd love to talk to you about it.
I will say this: when Mike presented it to our board as a proposal to present at NHC, we were all like, "Holy crap! How did you do this?" It was so amazing.
I was just totally slack-jawed. I mean, it's incredible. It's an incredible amount of data, and like the practical upshot of it was, for a couple days after, I was just be like, "Hey, Mike, should I brew 11B or 11C next?" Like, just like the granular. He's like, "Well, technically, if you brew 11B versus 11C, you're gonna have a 0.4% chance." Blah blah blah. And I mean, the data is incredible.
Yeah, if you want to win medals, if you want to compete and win, Mike has the data to tell you what you need to brew, and for what in each competition, in each region, in each state. It's unbelievable.
That's
it's
fantastic.
really unbelievable.
I did, like I said, a very, very baby light version of that, and it did get me to brew like styles I hadn't brewed before. Early on, I haven't really participated in comps in a year or two, but I am going to be getting back into it, and that's kind of the same shit. Brian and I have talked about, how Master Homebrewer Program tracks the beer styles that you have brewed and what you've meddled in, and he's using that to kind of guide him on what other brews to start. I did a light version last year myself, or what it was last year, but I just emailed Brian and said, "What should I brew?" So,
well, it's cool. Like I looked at my dashboard earlier this year, like a couple months ago, and it's really barren. Like my dashboard is. I'm like, oh my god, is this all I really brew? Like just these styles, and I'm like, I need to branch out, and so that's it's led me to, in 2023 here, I think I'm going to branch out quite a bit and brew a lot of new styles that I've never brewed before, because my goal right now that I'm Grandmaster 1, I need to get 43s and things that, either I'm below on, or, hopefully brand new styles. So I can't rank up anymore without expanding
out.
Yeah. My comfort zone sort of. So yeah, it's really interesting when you start kind of putting the data up on a screen, like in a visual manner, to see, kind of where you're at and what trends, you kind of brew at and stuff. So
Yeah, I just texted him and said, "What should I brew?" And he came back with like Czech dark lager, which I've never done that before. And I brewed it. I had a blast investigating recipes and coming up with it. It was like the only I brewed 12 times last year, but I feel like that was the only different beer, new beer that I brewed, and it wound up taking like what 3 or 4 medals, and I was like, thanks, Brian, for the inspiration.
And Matt, this was
Like
prior to your
my trip
Yeah,
to Prague.
yeah.
Yeah. I'll probably have your
Lager, of
recipe
course.
in my data set.
That
The
Czech
sexiest
dark is
style
a
out there right now.
fantastic style.
Oh, I loved it. It was great.
Okay, whatever, rinsing. You're just
49
driving the
Mr.
dagger
40,
in.
49
Get outta
with his
here.
Czech dark.
Guys,
Yeah.
What's the story?
I toiled year long here in the Southeast Circuit, and at the last competition on the Southeast Circuit, I was like, I'm locked in a heated battle to stay on the podium, and I sent a rye barrel aged imperial stout named after my daughter, that I had poured my entire heart and soul into, and it comes, the ceremony is happening and awards are being given out, and I have to get a gold with this beer to stay on the podium in the Southeast. And sure enough, I get a gold, and I'm like, wow, great, awesome. I locked in my podium position. That means I'm also going to be considered for best of show. Oh my gosh, I haven't gotten a best of show this year. Wouldn't it be so poetic to get it on the last one in my Southeast Circuit? And then the best of show announcement happens, and my labor of love, blood, sweat, and tears imp stout gets a second place best of show to Mike Rensing's Czech dark, shipped in from God knows where, America. And I'll never recover. I'll truly never recover.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
It's all right.
Funny.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, that one's going to be brewed for a pro-am at GABF.
What was the brewery with that?
Savage.
South Carolina breweries, yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
traveling for that? You're going to brew with them? You're gonna...
I've been in contact with them.
Yeah.
Yet to be seen. I would love to.
So Carl, you get to drink his beer.
Yeah, that's right. more salt on the wound there. Just pour it on the cut.
Well, if you'll notice, there was a question there about travel, because it's more difficult for him to travel because he lives 150 hours away, whereas I could just take
Is that by camel or what?
Yeah,
I was gonna
that's
say. Wow.
well, with air travel these days,
Mike Rensing's beer at a brewery near you.
That's right.
But yeah, I mean, hey, but that's the Circuit of America for you. Like,
Yeah.
just a couple years ago, because this was at the Palmetto State Brewers Open down in South Carolina. But like, my understanding is just a couple of years ago that was, dudes from around the Carolinas or maybe in the Southeast, but with it being a Circuit of America comp, and with it being, I believe it was the second to last competition on the Circuit of America last year. I mean, you've got brewers from all over the country who are going to ship in to throw their hat in the ring to try to be there up at the top. Rensing, where did you? This isn't like a gotcha or anything. Rensing, where did you end up in the circuit last year?
I think I'm like 16, 17, somewhere around there.
Yeah. And I think I ended up, like, the highest I ever was, I was 20th for a brief moment. I think I ended up 25th. But yeah, I mean, that is the rising tide effect of the Circuit of America. Is, any of these competitions, wherever they are that are part of this circuit, are going to start having just better and better beers, which, the upshot to me there is, if I come away from that comp with a medal, it's legit. It's not just me like pushing around some regional guys that are just doing hazies or whatever. Like, these are the best brewers in the country, and I went toe to toe with them. And like, anytime I beat Fritz last year, which was, I think I medaled over him directly at like 2 tables, and that was huge. I mean, that was like me getting a best of show, because I mean, he was so dominant last year, but there was at least 2 times when I was like, I'm better than you for this one microsecond. For this one Baltic Porter.
I think I was the same with Bill. Bill and his
I was
meads.
just going to say that.
If I beat Bill with his meads, he knew about it.
Yep.
He knew about it. I made sure he knew about it. So
Hell yeah.
That's fun part of it, it's fun to talk smack.
But
with
some
these
people
guys
that are
are
just brewing meads are still up there in the circuit, though. Like, even if you're not brewing beers, like I think Matt Mead was still somewhere in the top 20.
he's 13th.
Right? Just
He was
yeah,
13th last year.
yeah, just brewing mead.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
for the most part. And,
Yeah, we
and I
had,
know he's brewing a lot of beer this year too, or I've seen him post about brewing beer this year. So
Adam
yeah, who
Bystrom was
knows?
18. Bill was second. So if you just brew mead and cider, you can do well.
Yeah.
And we have two competitions that are we have Mazer Cup, which is just mead, and Glen Cap, which is just cider. And we did that on purpose to kind of make sure that they could participate.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But it makes some people mad too. People look at Bill and they're like, "Well, this guy just makes meads." I'm like, "No, Bill makes beer too, and he's meddled with beer." And I have to temper. Everybody has complaints, about something or other.
Yeah.
But it's fun. You take competitive people, you give them alcohol, and it just turns into fun times.
Absolutely.
Maybe that's why they declined your presentation.
So that's right.
Yeah.
They would rather talk about thiols than get a whole room of guys like hyped on medals and podiums and badges and trinkets.
Yeah.
Well, I
So what-
appreciate having you guys on. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Matt.
I was just going to say, you guys talked about trying to get back into competing, and one thing we always want feedback on is what motivates you to want to compete again. What can we do to try to help you to be more competitive, to brew more, to enter more? What are the things that you would like to see that would spur that?
For me, before Brian goes and gives you actually real knowledge, for me, it's Brian. So I'll tell you what, personally, you want to talk about some shit, Carl. I used to be like the most meddlingest winning brewer in my club. I used to carry that mantle, and I was proud of it. And then Brian Steven come along and starts just fucking whooping my ass up and down the street. He was standing 6 inches in front of me when he won his first national homebrew competition medal with his back to me, and it was all I could do not to just knock him over the back of the head. And then, yeah. So for my answer to that, Matt, is revenge. And
Revenge. That's awesome.
That's the makings of a beautiful third
What?
quarter Circuit of America rivalry. I love it. I love to hear it.
No, I really, I let life get in my way of brewing for the last year and a half, 2 years. Between career and moving, and now moving again, and then I'll be moving a third time, hopefully, in the not too distant future, and so I just haven't had time. But I do plan on getting back into it. And Brian is a huge inspiration. And I've told him, my goal is to get back to the point in a year that I'm entering in every comp with him. Whether I'm not going to compete against him. And the same thing, we've got some other members in the club. In fact, when I was looking at your picture of the medals, I was super pumped to see other members of my club, names on that, on that table. So I think it would just be, it's a community thing for me. To be able to enter these comps with Tim and Brandon and Brian and Jordan even, and just celebrate each other's wins and hopefully come out of it with a bunch of hardware with each other. I love it when I see these guys, medal in multiple guys in my club medaling in these comps. So that's what drives it for me.
Cool.
Brian can give you better probably insight on what MHB can do for you.
Well, so here's the thing. My entire thing with like home brewing, right? Like I enjoy it for myself. I think I make good beer. I think I'm a good home brewer. But I really, really, really love when other people really start getting engaged, and like I love seeing somebody win their very first medal. Like
Yes.
I like, you can see the addiction like
Yes.
build, like it's like, it just oozes, right? And they're like, I need this again. And that's totally what happened with me. My very first medal win was a Michigan Beer Cup in like 2017 or something. I haven't been competitively brewing but for like 5 years or something. But what I would like to see, and what I think needs to be a big focus in the competitive homebrewing community is just getting people involved, period. Like,
Yes.
don't feel like you have to enter to win necessarily. Winning is awesome, but like, I entered my very first competition just to like just to know where my beer stands against other people, right? And if you have no idea, like, you can go to your homebrew club and you can drink your local brewery's beer, but like to get that first taste of validation
Yeah.
means a lot. And so just to encourage new or even veteran homebrewers that are not brewing competitively, they don't have to send in beer to every competition on the circuit of America, but just like compete locally, just to build that, I don't know, that helps build that community, the confidence. Yeah. And I think that helps build better brewers. And that's what I really want. I want this hobby to be full of people that are brewing better beer than they can buy, essentially. I want a bunch of great beer everywhere and people to be really happy about it and confident about it and competing, and just, I don't know, it's a really, really good hobby. Like, you guys are really, really cool people, and you guys are what this hobby is about. And I would love for just more people to be aware of, like, this is what homebrewing is, right? Like, a bunch of cool people making really good beers, kind of talking shit sometimes, but in the end, having each other's backs, and it's a really cool thing.
It really bums me out when we're talking about comps with people or entering comps, and to have somebody that's never entered a comp before say, I don't have anything that's ready for a comp, or I don't have a beer that's good enough for a comp. Pisses me off, man. Enter it. I entered the very first beer I ever brewed, and I won a medal. And I've entered those beers, and I've gotten those courtesy 19s, right? And I've taken that feedback, and I've iterated on that beer, and I've iterated on it and iterated on it, and now it's regularly hitting mid 40s. So it's like, so what if you don't think your beer is good enough? How are you going to get better without the unbiased open feedback? And then now, go ahead. Yeah.
No, now I completely agree.
As an organizer, I'm finding myself telling these judges or really pushing judges to really give the feedback. I'm on the other side of the fence now, and I see judges that just write good beer, and I get pissed off at that too. I'm like, how are they going to use that to be better? So.
Yeah, you said good beer, and you gave me a 32. That doesn't, like, okay, sure, yeah, 32 is not a terrible score, but
so that's good feedback. To be a better judge, you have to be a better competitor, because
100%.
As you compete and you know what's good and bad feedback, you can help provide that as a judge as well.
Because I know that's what drives me. I mean, the whole reason I submit to competitions is to get feedback on my thing. Like my Glint Clap medal, I had 2 ciders on tap, and I submitted the one that I thought was worse of the 2 because I wanted feedback because they were brewed similarly, and it came back with a silver. Now I'm kicking myself that saying I should have submitted 2 of them, but all I wanted was feedback. I didn't think it was going to take anything, so I just wanted somebody to tell me what I could do better. And that's really what drives me to submit to competitions, is just that feedback. Tell me what I did wrong. Give me some constructive criticism. Do you like my beer? Great. Yeah, tell me that. I like hearing that. But
why?
Yeah, why do you like it? Why didn't you like it? Like, or why didn't it stand out?
Yeah. So the common theme I got was, and it's the same with me, is I enter competitions to grow, right? Yep. To grow either in a style, to grow as a brewer, to get better at the hobby. I think that is very noble. That's a noble thing to compete, to get better, and to make a better product. That's what we want, and that's what we're here for. So,
and
I'm judging this weekend. Well, I'm now taking the scores that we've got on the MHP and really thinking hard about how I'm going to judge these. Like,
oh, that's funny.
Is this going to be a 43 to get you?
Yeah.
Is this great?
I'm the same. It's effective. Is this a Grandmaster beer? That's what I tell myself.
Mhm.
Is this a Master or Grandmaster beer?
So that's another layer that you're laying over top
Yeah.
of BJCP now, right?
Yep.
Yes,
And
and
so-
all of our members do that too. Everybody
So-
that judges, they're like,
That's where
"Well, am I
my
gonna give-"
perspective on it is a little bit different from the other guys. So like Matt and Mike, have judging experience, comp organization experience, and that's I have none of that. Last year was my first year competing, and I'm hearing chatter from the guys that are on the comp organization side, and they're saying that the judges are now like waffling on whether or not they're going to give this beer the 38 because they know that the 38 is what the MHP guys need, or if they're going to give it the 43 because they know that the 43 is what, and that,
Yeah.
as a gentleman that's out here chasing 38s and chasing 43s, that's terrifying to me. But I do think it is a palpable, legitimate effect of the MHP's kind of disruption in the space, and I mean, I'd love to hear it just from an MHP advocate standpoint. But I mean, it does nothing but just drive everyone to make better stuff, and that can't
100%.
possibly be a bad thing.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'll have to watch in the comp next time is see if I see an unusual number of 38s and 43s or
You'll see a bunch of
You'll see
37s and 42s.
37s.
Yeah,
Yeah, you'll see it.
exactly.
Yeah.
That was funny because you guys were talking about this earlier, and I was starting to going through some of my score sheets, and I'm like, son of a bitch! I'm like, I have so many like 35s, 36, and 37s. Like I think I got one like 39 sitting in there, like between the two score sheets came in at the exact same, and that was actually my cider. But yeah, I'm like, God damn it.
we actually used statistics to come up with these numbers, right? We just didn't pull them out of the air. We said, we looked at Andy and I looked at all of our scores for like the past 5 years, and we're like, okay, what's a top 5% beer, right? And it was 43. So that's how we came up with these numbers.
That's awesome.
And they work, right? It's very
I think they
difficult to
do.
get above a 43.
I think they do. Yeah.
I think I think I'm close. Like I said, I've got all my sheets. I've got to go through them and digitize or create a spreadsheet. I think I'm close to the Grandmaster level, but I'm afraid that I'm close to that with just one beer. I'm pretty sure that Damn Coffee Stout is the one that's gotten the most mid 40s.
Oh, interesting.
I've rebrewed that beer and entered it in like 25 comps. And I actually won a competition in Grand Rapids last year where it went on tap at a brewery. And this is a silly little competition where you have to equate or associate your beer with a book. It's a comp put on by a library. So the Kent District Area Library puts it on. You have to brew your beer and submit your beer, but you also have to tell the story or a book, tie it to a book or a thematic literary reference. And a friend of ours in the club brewed a Rausch beer, and called it Fahrenheit 154.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's really good.
It was great.
And he specifically brewed it, and he mashed it 154.
Yeah.
He had the smoky characteristic. Like the tie-in to the literary reference was amazing. And I'm like,
That's cool.
that's you rose to the occasion for that competition. Didn't
If
win.
you drink enough of it, you can't read anymore.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So I pulled a book out of my ass. There's like a Groundhog Day kind of book called Repeat, where this guy relives the same day over and over and over. And I said I've brewed this beer so many times over and over. It's like Groundhog Day. Every time I brew it, I learn a little bit more, and I change it and I tweak it. I keep brewing it over and over and over. And that's the beer that went from Brian and I do a how to brew for competition presentation, and we use that as one of the things. Like that's the beer that started out as a 19 and has ended at that 45 multiple times, and it's all because of the judging and the feedback and getting those little nuggets out of those score sheets that I can do something with.
See, if I'd have done that competition, I'd have put in a Harry Potter theme and put in a diacetyl bomb out there,
Oh,
a butter
yeah.
beer.
Yeah.
Butterbeer.
That's
I
the
think
worst
one has
Pilsner
to
I've
be out
ever
there.
made.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a fun little comp.
I think part of brewing for competitions too, and not to keep expanding on the subject, but sometimes it is nice to be humbled a little bit, because I think that there's a lot of people that brew really good beer that sometimes, and I'm speaking for myself here, sometimes I get into like routines and I'm like, oh yeah, this is really good beer, like whatever, and it goes out and gets like a 32 and it's like, oh okay, well, like I need to like just focus a little bit, sometimes like you can't just brew willy-nilly and throw out the competitions and expect everything to be like a 40 or whatever, like
Yeah.
Julia was on the Best of Show podcast last week, and she called it, what did she call it? Cellar love, where you end up, falling in love with your own cellar, and you become blind to what you're actually producing. And competition just cuts right through that, right?
Interesting. Yeah.
It does.
And there's nothing like blind judgment of your beer, and it can be harsh. But
oh yeah,
the advice I always give is, I'm never married to a beer. I am never married to a beer, because it's gone in maybe 6 months if you don't drink as much as I do. But it's gone in 6 months, and you're on to the next thing. Learn from it and move on. Right.
Yep.
Judgment can be harsh, and it can be very harsh sometimes, and you can take it personally. I've taken it personally, but learn from it, move on, cry for a little bit, move on.
Yep.
We've all brewed, I'm Grandmaster 4. I've brewed beers that score in the 20s and the 10s and the 9s, even as the lowest, so everybody brews good and bad beer. You just learn and you get better. And that's part of what we do, is we want to make better brewers.
I do think there is 100%. A direct correlation to the feedback that you get, at least there is for me, the feedback that you get from competitions as to the steps that you take in terms of advancing the quality of your brew craft. Like there have been things like I thought like, oh, well, maybe I should do this or do that, like on beers that I thought weren't that good. And then getting feedback in terms of competition, be like, well, they told me I should probably do something different. So after submitting that beer to a number of competitions and getting consistent feedback, it's kind of changed the way that I've moved forward and how to increase the quality of my beverages.
I think the general consensus among people that are experienced competitors is, before you stop entering a beer and to get good feedback, 3 competitions is a minimum, right? Because then you'll start to see trends potentially. But if you enter one competition and you get, this is a 20 beer, enter a second, you get a 20, put the third one in, it's a 40, keep entering it. There is variability and subjectivity in judging.
It's huge.
The whole overall experience portion of your score sheet is, and BJCP even says it. Everybody says we judge to a style. Well, you have 10 points. That is, how did I like it? Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So 20% of your score is, did the person like it or not? So at least 3 competitions every beer, and if you strike out at all 3, you probably have a bad beer. But
right.
But if you see variability there, keep entering it. You never know. I had a goose that I made last year that won 2 Best of Shows in 2 major competitions, and in a third competition scored 20. So
what, really?
Wow, that's
those are fun. Those are fun.
Wow.
So I got offended, but I know there's variability there and subjectivity. And
I didn't win Best of Show, but I did take 2 golds with a beer, and that then bombed out in a local small competition, to the point that I actually called the guy, and I felt so terrible about it later. But I called him. I called him and I was like, "What the fuck, dude? That just took gold at regional nationals, and took gold at Michigan Beer Cup. And you fucking bombed it out?" Because he judged it, and he was like, "Dude, the bottle blew up." Like, and I was like, "What?"
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
And just some weird shit happened.
Yeah.
I don't know why that one got infected, or was a bottle bomb, or.
And one of the reasons I want to say that is because I see a lot of people that they enter and they're like, judging so subjective, and I know my beer's good, and this competition was horrible. I'm never going to enter again. And you just have to understand that there's a tremendous amount of subjectivity in this as well.
Oh, immense. Yep.
And people's perceptions and sensitivities are all different, and
local tastes.
Definitely. And you have to really see it as a whole experience and not just that one person that judged it that one time. to really gauge how your beer is and how good it's, if it's good or bad, or if you should keep entering it or not. And you can't let one experience keep you from this great hobby that we have and community of competitive brewing. So I encourage everybody, if you're on the fence of trying to compete or even joining the MHP and joining this community, do it and try it out.
Try
Don't
the
give
free-
up. You get something bad in your first competition, and you get a bunch of bad feedback, and learn from it.
Yeah.
And keep at it. It'll only make you better. So.
Matt has a story too. He went from a 27 to a 34 to a 38 to a 43 with a beer this year.
That's incredible.
And that's
awesome.
that's the Grandmaster tick right there.
That's awesome,
just
Matt.
Keep sending it out, and
I
Right
want
on.
to say
That's-
I actually had a similar situation. I'm looking at my notes from 2022. The Michigan State Fair maybe was the one that did it to me. I don't know, or it might have been the Indiana.
Those Michigan guys, they just Southerners.
damn
there.
it.
Yeah, just
Oh, okay,
Michigan
yeah.
guys.
So here it was. So Indiana Brewers Cup, Dunkelsbach. Nope. Short spear, category 8A. Dunkelsbach got a 41. Excuse me, a Schwarzbier got a 41 at Indiana Brewers Cup. Literally 1 week later, it appears that same beer, same batch, same bottling run got a 25
Yeah.
at the state fair.
at the Dominion
Yep.
Cup.
Oh, that's your fault then. Yeah,
Yeah.
So
So
I can't dog on Dominion Cup at all.
yeah.
That's a show in heavy metal. Those guys are great. So it's obviously a 25 beer, Carl.
I got it.
Sorry.
I picked up a couple other medals at Dominion, and so we were okay. That kept me alive on the circuit. But the Schwarzbier dropping from a 41 to a 25 in the space of like a week or two, that was pretty shocking. But I mean, we've all got those stories.
Yeah.
I mean, I did that this year with State Fair and Beer Cup, and it was same two beers entered in both competitions, judged same bottling run, everything 1 week apart, no medals in State Fair, 2 medals at Beer Cup. So,
Yeah.
and
There's
realistically, probably the same judges. I have to go back and double check it, but a lot of the same judges came over, so it wasn't even that.
I'm gonna have to take a look at that because I submitted pretty much the same thing to Beer Cup and State Fair. So I was just looking at my State Fair score sheets. So I think I got in one of these drawers back here. I got my Beer Cup score sheets. I don't think I ever cross-referenced the two.
We have a competitor in Texas who's won more of the Lone Star circuits than anyone else. I won't name names, but you can probably figure it out if you do your research. And I know he keeps a log of judges and what judges' preferences are, and actually tailors his beers for who's likely to judge that beer in a specific competition.
I remember you talking
That's
about that
smart.
on Dr. Homebrew. I'm pretty.
I
maybe
think
you're
that's
mentioning
I
that.
think that's crazy. I can't imagine doing the same Dunkelsbach 3 different ways for 3 different competitions.
Yeah, that's nuts.
But he wins, right? And if
You
you
know,
want to
and-
go to
and
that
if the
level,
prize-
we have that level of people in the MHP as well.
If the prize is $1,000, grain father or something like that, like maybe it's
yeah,
worth
that's
it.
right. That's
Yeah.
right.
And the prestige, and that's cool.
Yep.
Plus all the other prizes that come with the other competitions and stuff.
Yes.
So
Dominion
it's-
was a $500 check for best of show.
That was
Hey.
kind of
There's
sneaky
a,
too. That showed up in your mailbox out of nowhere, right?
It was $500 for best of show, $300 for heavy metal, or vice versa. I can't remember. So I ended up with $800 prizes from Dominion Cup.
Holy shit, that's
Jeez.
amazing.
You bet your ass I'm entering that thing next year.
Wow.
Yeah.
there's a competition this year that's offering cash prizes. I think first.
Don't tell people
Biggest-
about that, Mike.
Hoppy Possum.
No,
Western
it's
Carolina.
not that. It's
Hoppy
25.
Possum offers like $10,000 in prizes.
Yeah, I can tell you guys. So it is against my own personal best interest to tell you about this because but it is so insane that I do feel like this is a good place to share it. So I'll give you the exact detail. I didn't even, again, I'm in the western part of North Carolina, and I didn't even know about this until Mike reached out and asked me about it. But it's the Lincolnton, North Carolina Homebrew Club, the Lincolnton Brewers Club. It is a BJCP sanctioned the competition, the Western Carolina Homebrewers Festival. So it's the competition associated with the festival. This is going to blow your mind, and anyone listening to this, there are some spots left, but first place is $2,500.
What?
And that is, but here's the kicker: they are only accepting like a total of 15 styles.
Okay.
Okay.
It's limited to 100 entries, I believe, like 25 in each table.
Yep.
So it's like broken into 4 tables, I believe.
We've got a
What's
pale
the
bitter
entry
European.
fee?
Entry fee is, I believe, 10 per. I'm pulling up the Reggie page now.
Wow.
I mean,
It doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
I'll send you guys the URL in the chat. But
No, I mean, I think it's awesome, but it's like, so
Yeah.
Brian and I are doing our first full year as comp organizers right now, and I'm looking at budgets and how much money, we're making, what we're spending on metals and shit like that. And I'm like, I'd love to do a cash prize. I'm not going to announce one until I sell my entries and figure out what metals and shit are
Yeah.
going to cost me. But $2,500, that's awesome.
Well,
I gotta
there's
get
there's
through here.
also there's like 1,000 and 1,500 or something, and there is absolutely no way that they're making it back. The entry fee alone will not cover the 2,500.
No.
So
now it
Yeah.
is associated with an actual festival, and I do think I am actually going to attend it. Because I didn't even realize there was a legit like in-person festival associated with it until we were talking about it at a club meeting, the local club here meeting in Winston-Salem, and me and 2 other guys who are competitive, we were like, well, we're going to go ahead and max out. So between 3 of us, we're sending in 15 entries. So us 3 guys are going to account
Yep.
for 15% of entries.
Yep.
But I think we might actually go. It's April 29th here in beautiful Western North Carolina, near the city near the mountains, near perfect, it says. But yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I dropped the link in chat. It's nuts. It's a huge cash prize for not that many entries. I can only assume they're making their money back on the festival side.
Yeah, it's got to be.
But it's bananas, and it's, I mean, limited styles, but it's not like crazy esoteric styles. I mean, my German Pils is going in there. My American Blonde, and notably the American Blonde is not even my recipe. It's Matt's recipe. I just steal his shit. Yeah,
I'm an open book. You can brew
Is it a
anything.
mean Brew's recipe?
Yeah.
it is my first 100% Mean Brews recipe.
Whoa.
And how is it,
used,
Carl? Be honest.
Oh, it's wonderful. I'm not, as I said between you and I offline earlier, I'm not a huge fan of Mosaic generally, but you recommended Mosaic, I think, in the late kettle edition there, and maybe even in the dry hop. I might be lying about that. And like I can definitely taste it, and I'm like, nah, I don't love Mosaic, but I mean it's really good. Nottingham yeast was an atypical choice that you
Yeah.
recommended, and I went with. It dropped beautifully clear. Like I think it's great. So I'm really happy with it. The first results for the blonde ale come back this Saturday at Homebrew Alley. So we'll see how it does.
Cool.
Right on. Yeah, no, that's an amazing prize. Good luck with that. Like I said, I'm hopeful that we can offer a cash prize, but we have to. We're lucky with Beer Cup. Judging is 8 weeks before award ceremony.
Yeah.
Because we have
that's right.
to.
We changed it this year, didn't we?
Yeah, we have to. So we're kind of dodging around, State Fair and NHC and all the other shit, and then summer holidays, and we announce awards at Michigan Homebrew Festival, which is the 3rd week in August. So I have time, to basically close the books on the comp and see what's left in the kitty to decide what I'm going to give, out at Homebrew Fest if we have the cash and we can do it. So I'm not going to be able to announce it this year, but I'm hoping we can do something. And then
Now,
we'll learn better for next year.
You've absolutely piqued my interest, and I just want to confirm, Michigan Beer Cup. Are you guys? Is that the one that that's going to stay Michigan only? I was
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I
But come up to the festival.
I get it, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
opportunity I can have to interact with you.
Festival,
you
yeah.
It's
you
it's
mitten
kind of
people.
2 things. So there's the Michigan Beer Cup and the Michigan Homebrew Festival that
Got
are
it.
kind of intertwined. unless
Yeah.
Now,
we're
where-
tying those two together. a
Where
bit
are
more
you?
now.
Where is the festival?
Right.
No,
What is
no,
it?
it's gonna be like, wait, which side?
It's the festival is just
On the
outside
side.
of Detroit.
Yeah, it's like over
Yeah.
here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like looking in the. Like,
You're just
which-
jealous that you don't carry your map around with you wherever you go.
I mean, you kind of could. Like North
Yeah,
Carolina.
there you go,
Yeah.
Yeah, this is North Carolina. I was born here. I went to school
Yeah.
here, and now I live here. It's very easy.
Perfect.
Yeah. No, we're Michigan Homebrew Festival and Michigan Beer Cup. They're coincide, but they're not actually related. We host our award ceremony there because it's cool. The majority of the entrants are there, and that's fun. Like I would say, last year when we handed out medals, we probably had 75% of the people were there to actually get their medals in person.
Yeah.
And then you get to walk around the festival the rest of the day wearing your medals. You know,
The rest of
if
the
you-
weekend, honestly, like,
yeah,
well,
the rest
it happens on
it's
Saturday.
Saturday. But like we do, and I know other clubs do, is like if I know a member has brought a keg of beer that's in the competition, I try to keep it aside till Saturday so that I tap it, and then we'll put that up. You know, gold medal winning. You know,
Have you guys thought about?
dark
Have you
lager.
thought about moving the award ceremony to like Friday night?
Mm.
No, we got too much other shit going on right
Too
now.
much going on.
Only because a lot of people that enter their beers, so it's free just to come and hang out, and you can't drink without paying, but you can come and pick up your award and be present for the ceremony. For
That
free.
makes sense. Yeah.
And it's tough to do like on a Friday, kind of.
Friday evening. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of why I figured it was Saturday midday makes more sense. There.
I would say if you're going to come to the award ceremony in August and you're going to be there in person, we'll make an exception to non-Michigan beer. If you're going to be there to accept your award in person, you can enter.
No, honestly, you could publish that rule and
I
some
know.
Make
people
that
may do it.
official. Yeah, let's
Yeah,
make
why
it
not?
official. We run the competition now. Why the fuck not? There's no rules. Yeah.
There's no
how the
rules.
We are
pineapple
the
speaks.
rules.
Last year, several people from the Kansas City Beer Meisters won, and I still mailed them their medals. We did have somebody. Well, you guys mentioned earlier there was some
Don.
guy, Don. I think I remember that.
From Canberra.
It's funny how, because I sat here and like organized all the score sheets and I mailed all the medals, and so I got all these names in my head, and I remember stupid shit like that. But I know there were a handful, like five or six guys outside of Michigan that we still did it. Well,
I think Don had to find an MHP member in the state that he could ship to drop them off because you didn't have a shipping location.
We do. So that's
will
a
this
sneak
year.
peek.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
have a
yeah,
shipping
sure.
location.
Oh,
yeah.
So I live in Houston, Michigan, by the way.
Yeah.
Bell's General Store. Bell's is
Okay.
going to allow us,
Okay,
or
cool.
Bell's is going to accept shipments for us. So Bell's General Store is going to accept. I'm actually getting ready. Tomorrow I have to put a post out on the Beer Cup site with the new things that we've come up with this year. The new tweaks that we're doing to the competition. So yeah, super excited to have a shipping.
And what are your best of show prizes? I don't know if you talked about that or not.
So in the past, it's varied. This comp's 14 years old, and I remember years ago, before COVID, there were a lot of prizes. There were, Blickman's local to us, so Blickman used to donate a lot of good equipment and stuff, and so the best in show would get.
John's great. John is he is such a good supporter of homebrewing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but then COVID
gotta
hit,
head
and we thanks, Mike. Take it easy. But COVID hit, and we kind of
See you, Mike.
peeled back to just medals,
Okay.
And so this year, I think we're, like I said, we're going to try to, we're going to try to beef it up a little bit. Better medals, hoping to do. Will depend on sponsors and donors. I'm going to reach out to Blickman and those guys, and we'll see what they give us. If not, it'll probably be some kind of cash prize.
So you don't have a trophy or something for best of show. It's a prize.
the best of show gets the normal medal, and then they get a plaque.
Okay.
with
you don't
with one of
do
the
you have-
medals like embedded in it.
Do you have one of the
Okay.
plaques, Brian?
I don't have a plaque.
So I normally do, and it's funny because I don't right now. I think David has them, but yeah.
What one of the things we like to brag about in MHP is one of the best of show awards that you win, right? And Carl talked about the 2 swords, which are really cool.
Mhm.
My personal favorite is there was a competition that's now defunct called the Cactus Challenge that has a Texas-sized belt buckle that
I
you
remember.
win. It is awesome. I wear it to every competition I go to, because I can.
Yeah. Yep.
But
I'd
there are
do it.
quite a few. That the foam cup one was really cool. It was a hand blown and etched glassware, which was really cool. And there's some other really cool ones out there too.
I've seen somebody has let me share my screen, but I have seen somebody has like a WrestleMania style belt that looks amazing.
Yeah,
Uh,
those are fun too.
it's
Chris
the,
Daly. Chris Daly has that. Yeah.
So this
it's
is
the same comp as the folks that do Ozaptus. They do their other comp. They do the belt. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. I think it's Bernie Brewfest, that one in Bernie, Texas. I could
Okay.
be wrong because I don't
Yeah.
enter that one, but
So
yeah,
this
that's
is
cool. So you have a traveling trophy as well?
yeah. So we have these are the awards that we won this year.
Okay.
So this is the beer cup, and the same thing for best of show. So it's got an embedded medal. There's a guy in Michigan. His name is Rex Halfpenny. He
On the
kinda
right
started.
side, not in the middle of the screen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. I was trying to zoom in on it. So it's got a halfpenny and one of the beer cup medals embedded in the plaque. And then of course we've got the Gambrinus Award, and this is a fun gang beer, kind of a club to club challenge that brews weird funky beers.
That trophy gets altered by the club that wins it every year, and then it goes
Yeah,
to
that's
another
cool.
club that's not them in Michigan.
Yeah.
So last year, the club that won it before us was the Michigan Mead Coalition. So you
Yes.
can't really see it on the screen here, but there's a bunch of like bees and honeycombs and stuff sort of embedded
okay.
all over the
Oh yeah.
the trophy now. Yeah. So
Right there.
yeah, a Mead Club won the beer trophy last year. So
Of course. Of course.
they're new, and they made something amazing that fit all the rules of the challenge, and it was, again, it's one of those humbling things, right? Like all the clubs were like, oh shit, this Mead Club like fucking dominated us. Like
Yeah.
we need to like bring some A game next time. Yeah.
This is of course the ultra prestigious Keeper's Cup right here, where you have to be a keeper to win that traveling trophy with our club logo on the top. So
I love the traveling trophies.
if you guys want to join our club, then you can participate in the Keeper's Cup.
Okay.
So,
Awesome. Great prizes.
but no, I mean, so we're trying to think of how to modify that, but we'll probably keep those plaques for Homebrew Club of the Year and Best of Show, and it's tradition. Like I was saying, the plaque itself has a halfpenny embedded in it, which in Michigan there's a guy, his name is Rex Halfpenny, and he kind of started the competition. He used to do a Michigan beer magazine, 30, 40 years ago. And so it's kind of honoring Rex and the history here. And
That's cool.
yeah.
As far as Michigan specific prizes, have you guys considered just supplying the winner with a handful of Pronto Pups? Has that been
We
discussion
are
at
from the
all?
wrong side of Michigan for that, so no.
Okay, let me tell you something. I don't know a lot about Michigan, but I do know that the side that has Pronto Pups is my favorite side of Michigan.
You got to come over to the west side more, man.
What do you have? Okay, pitch me on your Pronto Pup alternative, sir.
No, I mean, so technically Pronto Pumps,
Wait, no, they're from Grand Rapids, aren't they?
they're from Grand Haven.
I had them
They're-
in Grand
they're-
Haven.
Okay,
They're the
yeah, that's
west side of the
That's
state.
good. You're fine.
Detroit is the competition's the other side of the state.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Detroit has anything? Have they ever made anything cool in Detroit? Is that city famous for anything?
Nothing really at all.
Okay, cool.
Violence.
Well, probably an amazing football team. You might have heard of.
Yeah.
yeah.
Actually, pretty good hockey team, except for the past couple of years.
Like 10.
Yeah.
So what competitions are you all entering coming up? What are
Oh
you
yeah.
What are you guys planning on participating in?
You
Well,
know, so that's
so-
a great segue, Matt. Thank you, into like the last segment of our show where we talk about upcoming comps. So thank you for that.
Okay.
Ryan.
Hey, that's what I'm here for, right?
Yeah.
some local things, and maybe we have to. I don't have the Circuit of America page open, so maybe you can talk about what circuit.
Oh,
comps
brother,
are
we can
still
hit
up and
you.
coming up, but
I
yeah,
think we can handle that.
some local things that we have coming up. The Sicilianos homebrew competition in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Okay.
The registration starts on March 12th. I think it's Michigan only. I'm not 100% sure. The
know.
prize is a $250 gift card to their store. They are a homebrew shop / bottle shop, and I'm pretty sure the gift card is good for like whatever you want to buy there.
So I got a question on that.
Yeah.
Just because we've mentioned, the Michigan Beer Cup being Michigan only and Sicilianos. If it's BJCP, doesn't it have to be open to any BJCP registered?
No.
Okay.
It doesn't even have to follow the BJC guidelines.
No, it
just-
doesn't.
That I didn't know.
It just has
I
to
was
have
gonna say-
some guidelines.
I
on
thought
how
I
to-
read somewhere that it had to be open for all registrants that were
Almost all of the BJCP rules have the last line of them say, unless you want to do something different.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
Because we're looking at it, we're like,
sounds
do
like
that way.
written by somebody who was drinking beer.
That's
Yeah.
right.
It sounds like.
Thanks, Gordon.
Yeah, no, they're very flexible. You can really do anything. You can even our club competition, that Keepers Cup, is actually a BJCP sanctioned competition, and it's closed and private just to our club.
And we had 20 entries this year. So
Yeah.
But our judges still got like half a point or whatever for helping out. So yeah.
Yep.
Sicilianos is coming up. I mean, $250 is $250.
They don't
The
do
nice thing
cider,
about
right?
that comp too, it's beer only.
Yep.
But they do ranked scoring, sort of like how Glint Cap works.
Uh-huh.
So if your beer scores above a certain amount, you are going to get a medal regardless. It's just that the best of show gets something extra. So you will get BJCP feedback. You probably will get a medal. I think it's a 32 maybe minimum for a bronze. So you brew a damn decent beer, like you'll get some sort of medal, which is super cool. I mean, a medal's a medal.
One entry.
And yeah, it's 2 entries this year.
Oh,
They
no
expanded
shit.
it. Yep.
Okay.
They expanded it this year, so it's 2 entries per person, 150 cap, I
Yep.
think.
It looks like they have a traveling trophy. It looks pretty impressive, actually.
I think they do. Yeah, for
Yep,
best of
yep.
show.
Yep, your name gets printed on it or whatever.
Cool.
K-Dale, that you mentioned earlier, Jason, that is closed now. But if you did enter the K-Dale competition, I think your entries are due by the beginning of February. I have to look at that. I don't have that note taken down. I just kind of scribbled some notes quick. And then Hopcraft Supply over in Sturgis or Saginaw, Jason? Saginaw, Michigan. They are doing quarterly comps. So this is something I haven't talked about before because I didn't know they were doing it before. I don't know if it's local, but it sounds like they do quarterly comps, and they have they make a whole day of it when they do the judging announcements and stuff like that. So like 4 times a year over in Saginaw, Michigan, like I don't think these are big competitions at all. You can probably get a gift card from Hopcraft Supply just by entering.
There's a new trend in that,
comps and
right?
stuff. Yeah. So that was my thing. Like before I would ever want to open a brewery, I would want to open a homebrew shop and just like do like homebrew competitions and create like monthly recipe kits that like people can brew and do like competitions for like the recipe kit and really just like build community and stuff. Like that sounds way more fun than opening a brewery to me. So I love that they're doing something like this that speaks to me 100%.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's it for the locals, right? I mean,
Yeah, that's all that's coming up soon around here.
Michigan Beer Cup will have an announcement going up tomorrow. The registration for that should be opening on April 15th. Glint Cap, which is not a Michigan only, that is an international cider and perry competition, but that competition is going to be May 18th this year.
It's judged in Grand Rapids this year.
Registration opens 1st of February.
First of February. Thank you.
Closes April 15th.
So if you look at their website, it
Shit,
says
really?
it says 28th of January, and so I went on there and I ended up messaging the comp coordinator, said,
Yeah.
your site says 28th of January, and his response was, we're opening in February. So that is one. It's on our circuit, and I'm potentially entering one cider.
You said the first.
1st of February is what. That's the $20 per entry registration date. It goes up to 25 after a certain.
That's Glint Cap's the big competition I'm looking at entering with all my ciders. So
Nice, dude.
Thank you. I was not on top of that shit. So
How many bottles is Glint Cap?
17. I don't know.
It's two.
Is it?
Two per entry.
Yeah,
It's not bad.
two per entry.
That's one of the factors that we have, right? So that because if you have
After-
one comp that has 4 and one that has 2,
Yep.
you can enter 2 comps with 2, right? So
Yep.
Especially
after
with
some
needs and
after
stuff.
some tutelage from Bill Boyer, I think what I might actually do is kind of focus all the ciders that I have kicking around that I've made in the last few months. I probably will send them into Glint Cap. So this will be my first
Nice.
experience with that.
Do it, man.
So-
It's good, great feedback. I got great feedback last year.
So Matt, why don't you go ahead and run through the next few that you've got on there? I'm actually going to share your link to your Circuit of America page to the group here, and everybody can go and check that out. I appreciate that. But yeah,
there's 11 COA comps open: Tennessee, Nevada, California, Georgia, Rhode Island, Texas, Washington, Louisiana, Utah, and Wyoming. So if you live anywhere near those states, you can participate. Some notable ones on there: Sweetheart's Revenge is about to close. It's in Colorado. They're at 507 entries right now. They close tomorrow. Julia Hertz is doing the Best of Show judging. So
Cool.
she's also doing the same for Snafu Winterfest, which is closes on the 4th, and that's in Nevada. So it just happened to line up with her traveling for those places to participate. One of my new ones that I'm entering this year that's open right now is Boot Brewfest in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It's new. Gold medal wins a boot glass with all the competition
like
logo
it.
on it.
Yeah.
And they have a big festival like you're talking about. So I plan to actually participate in that festival this year.
Cool.
Bluebonnet is probably
Stacked.
closes today.
Closed today.
1,200 entries. Are they closed right now? Are they still open?
I believe the most recent email that we got this afternoon said that they closed as of earlier this afternoon.
Okay,
Cool.
so they're done. So there's only 10 that are open. And probably the other one that I would recommend is America's Finest City. That's the competition run by Quaff. They're, again, new. They replace Mayfair, which was rated very poorly by our membership. That's run out of Los Angeles and got such poor rankings that people asked us to take it off, and we did.
Oh, jeez.
We replaced that with America's Finest City. So
Okay.
excited
Cool.
to see Quaff's competition, which a lot of people speak very highly of. Great judging, Grandmaster judges.
Oh yeah.
And that one's open and really not full right now. So you got a good shot at getting some great judging feedback and competing against some of the best in California there.
Awesome.
Awesome.
A couple I'd like to plug. Similarly, sticking to what's open on the circuit right now. I'm looking at the Peach State Brew Off. Peach State has been, especially down here in the Southeast, has historically been a pretty good comp. They're on the circuit for Georgia. Registration is open, has been open for a while, closes the 9th of February. They're sitting at 234 entries right now. If I had to guess, they'll probably end up at they have a published limit right now of 450, but they may end up at 500. So if you're in the Southeast, or if you want to compete in the Southeast, Peach State Brew Off is a great one. And then I can't believe you didn't mention it, Matt, but the 6th of February, Drunk Monk opens.
Yes.
That's a big one. I actually, last year when I first started competing, Drunk Monk was one of the first few. I think I sent like 2 entries in it, but it was really not like quality stuff. frankly. But I watched the awards live stream and saw all the hardware that everyone was getting. I was just really, really impressed by that. So I am looking at this year's Drunk Monk as a shot at redemption for me. And then what's Matt? Do you know
Is
the
that
name of the
Chicago area?
Belgian? Yeah, that's in the
Okay.
Chicagoland area. They have a published max of 350 entries. Is that correct, Matt?
I'm not sure on Drunk Monk. They
Okay.
have a moving target, right? Depending on how many judges they can get signed up.
Fair.
Oh,
And
cool.
then
Well, that's
what is
good.
it? Is it oh gosh, monastery? What's their Belgian like side theme this year?
Something Mark of the Monastery or something like that.
Yeah, but it's a separate thing. We were talking to one of the organizers, and basically it's kind of, you treat it like it's a separate comp basically, but it's for specifically the Belgian styles. So I will probably be competing with some of my other stuff, and then I'll send my Belgian Dark Strong in.
Menace of the Monastery.
Menace
Yeah,
of the
Costas
Monastery.
Menace.
There you go.
Nice.
Thank you. But yeah, I've always been, and
Thanks.
that's coming from a guy that's, I haven't medaled at that comp. I
Same.
just entered there and was very impressed by how it was set up, and have been impressed so far with the information that's available on their website. They have tons and tons of info that's already out there. So yeah, definitely a huge plug for Drunk Monk.
Right on.
And also, if you can enter and beat Dan Atchison so that he
Yeah.
does worse on the circuit.
Dan needs some humbling. That guy just took everything last year. So
That's awesome.
Dan won the Midwest circuit, which is arguably the most difficult because it's based upon quality points. Like if you can't flood and win. If you flood,
Right.
you're going to lose. You have to know what's good and know what the judges like. And Dan did fantastic. He's a good friend, and he just did fantastic last year. First year competing, I think, as well. So
That's
good
great.
for him. Yeah.
Right on. Well, we appreciate chatting with you guys tonight. Before we wrap up, I did want to cover, we are not going to have a show next week, probably for the next 2 weeks, right, Brian? We'll get an update out.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to be out of town next week, and I think we've got some other things going on. We are still working on ideas for show 100, so stay tuned for that. We do plan on, in the near future, we're kind of loosely talking with the folks over at KBCC,
Oh yeah.
Kalamazoo
brewing-
Valley Community College.
Yeah, thanks for you
Their
guys.
sustainable brewing program.
They have a sustainable brewing program. We're going to actually do that episode on site in their brewery, talk about the program they've got going on there. If you want to go from home brewer to pro brewer, or just learn more about beer, they've got an awesome program. So that'll be coming up in the near future. And then we've got some other ideas that we're kicking around.
I think our next show, honestly, and I can't, something set me off right at the beginning of this show that made me think about this, but I think that our next show might actually be a non-traditional style show. Like
Yep.
we get so, sometimes I was thinking about this, we get so wrapped up in BJCP styles that sometimes, I don't know, I personally get wrapped up in this, but like I lose track of like brewing beer that like could be really fun but may not be necessarily like a winner in like a traditional BJCP category or something like that, like a Kolsch with non-traditional hops or something like that. So
Or a shrimp IPA.
yeah shrimp IPA, yeah, absolutely.
No, thank you.
Doing that again.
Yeah.
that was last year. Yeah, you guys missed out on all the fun. So yeah.
Did you dry?
That was an
shrimp
experience.
shell the
It was
beer
dry
as well?
shrimp. Yeah.
Yeah, it's dry shrimp.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Dry shrimp. Yeah.
I was actually thinking about that earlier today, Brian, because I was like thinking of things like, brewing things that I haven't done before. And I've really wanted to brew a Heffy, but I used to brew Heffies all the fucking time.
Like a Heffy with Hull Milan or something like that. Like, just like getting kind of out of the.
Well, that's what I thought. I was like, I really like this Schwarzbier. It's like, is a black Heffy a thing? Like,
You should make a
sit?
bubblegum Heffy. Just, I don't know if you saw Stephanie Butler's post on the BJCP where they've removed bubblegum as an appropriate flavor.
I heard about that.
Yeah, so you should make a bubblegum flavored Hefeweizen and put it in Hefe and see the
dry
judge
gum it.
feedback.
Yeah, just bubble yum right at the end.
Yeah, that's right.
Like,
I don't know about a black Hefe though. I mean, it
You're gonna make a
seems like you
Schwarzweizen.
should be able to. Yeah, Schwarzweizen.
Yeah,
you go.
that's what I was kind of like. Is that
One of the
that's not like a BJCP style though? Like, would it fit in Schwarz beer or
Dunkelweizen. It'd be
that's,
Dunkelweizen.
Yeah,
Dunkel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could do Dunkel. You're gonna get knocked though. There is oh god, it's
Dunkelweizen's
experimental.
a
It's
hard
experimental
style.
beer.
That's
would be-
kind of what I thought. I was like, I didn't like out of all the BJCP reading I've done, like I'm like, I don't know if there's any place specifically where that fits, but I'm like
34B.
it sounds like well, yeah, that'd be experimental. Like that's just a fucking catch-all. Like you don't fit anywhere else. You go.
But that's going to be the purpose of the show. So maybe you can brew
Yeah.
that this week, and we'll talk about it in a couple weeks. But
And drink it out of a pineapple glass.
And
you know?
actually,
Absolutely.
full steam brewing out of Durham, North Carolina, their flagship beer in like the late thousands. Their flagship beer was called Working Man's Lunch, and it was effectively a porter that was fermented with Hefeweizen yeast, so it had all the the phenolics and clove and bubblegum and banana and yada yada yada. And it was so weird and so wild for that to be their flagship. But hey, man, there's precedent out there, so full send it right
100%.
into
Yeah,
34B town.
You know,
Sand
I'll-
Arnold-
you
Sand
know,
Arnold
I'm
here.
doing it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna brew it this year. I'm gonna.
There you go.
I made Hefeweizens a lot. I know the style well. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do a black Hefe. I want it.
Just brew a Hefeweizen and dump 4 ounces of Cinnamar in it and call it a day.
Yeah.
That's cheating.
That's called creativity.
But yeah, stay tuned. We'll get a show created in a couple weeks on that. Talk about some non-traditional styles and some beers that I actually had a few that I used to brew that I just wanted to brew because I liked, and they're not going to make it in the comp. So I think that'll be a fun show. But thanks again, Carl and Matt and Mike and Situ there for coming on and hanging out with us and talking about the program. It's amazing. So.
Yes, thank you.
Well, thanks
guys
for having
both.
us.
I love
This
the
has been a
program.
blast.
Yeah, we'll create another post tomorrow that has like all the links that we talked about tonight and stuff. So
Cool.
yeah, for sure. I hope. Yeah, please sign up for the program. It's so
Yes.
fucking fun. So
Hell yeah.
Thanks for the plug. Appreciate
All
it,
right.
guys.
Cheers.
all right,
Cheers.
have a good night, guys. Have a good night, everybody.